All right, hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to our powers. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, give it the honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that have told us this truth that are ruling well through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Hey, peace, mercy, and blessed to the blood of Akim that are out there pushing this word wholeheartedly in truth and in sincerity, that are not wavering to the left nor to the right, but constantly stand on that straight and narrow, fighting for your crowns in these last days that we are truly living in. Even shalom to the few sisters, the Aquavs that are out there, and even shalom to the Israelite foreigners, those that may look like the other nation, but their seed line goes back into our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm the brother Ira, coming back with another lesson, Lord willing, edifying, feed the lambs of the Lord, which Lord willing this lesson is, edifying, concise, and straight to the point. All right, and we're entering into some dark and evil times. Okay, and pretty much society is getting ready to change, and you have what is known as the tech billionaire takeover. Okay, pretty much all the different billionaire tech so-called elites of the society are pretty much aligning themselves with Donald J. Trump to put him as the CEO, as the face of America, and for them to push out the current government and for them to rule over the people in their way, their image, their ideology. Okay, and it's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today, because this thing is definitely happening. This thing is all tied in with the MOTB, all right, the mark of the beast. So we could very well see that this year could be the year that, you know, we get out of here, all right, because things are moving fast, as the scriptures say that the Lord was going to speed up the time, least no flesh should be saved, all right. Matter of fact, let me start with that, because that's very important, all right, because I want to speak on a dude that I had on the screen, all right, by the name of Curtis Yarvin. Okay, which he made a statement that he wants to put people into these techno cities, and the poor people will become biodiesel fuel, and the others will just be as slaves. Okay, and there's a dystopian world that they envision, all right? And this is why the Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, us that are in the know, all right, we have comfort knowing that Yahweh Shema Shai is going to not allow this man to accomplish their enterprise, all right, their new world order, their plans. So let me get that real fast in Matthew 24 and verse 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days shall be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the time is being shortened all for Yahweh by Shema Shai's elect, for us. Okay. Now, I want to read right here, and this is from The Guardian. This article right here says he's an anti-democracy and pro-Trump, the obscure dark enlightenment blogger influencing the next U.S. administration. It says Curtis Yarvin is hardly a household name in U.S. politics, but the neo-reactionary, right, which I looked up what is neo-reactionary, okay, and there you have it right there on the screen. It says dark enlightenment. So we're entering into some dark and evil times, okay, as we've been saying, as the apostles been saying, you know, because that's where we get it from, you know. All right, it says the dark enlightenment, also called the neo-reactionary movement, is an anti-democratic, anti-egalitarian, and reactionary philosophical and political movement. The term dark enlightenment is a reaction to the age of enlightenment and an apologia for the popular concept of the dark ages. Okay, this thing is heavy right here. All right, what is taking place right in front of our very eyes, man. Okay, and that's why when these individuals get to talking, like Elon Musk, David Sachs, Ben Horowitz, Mark and Anderson, you know what I'm saying, Peter Thiel, when you start hearing those names and people coming out and they get to talking, you got to pay attention to what they're saying, because, you know, they're cold talking to let each other know the plan and the next phase of the new world order. All right. And like I mentioned, you know, Thawadi how by Shim Abashai, for the understanding, because the way that this thing is heading, all right, hey, the world will be reduced, like they had written in those Georgia Guidestones, and they put it in damn near every language, that they wanted to limit the population to 500 million. Okay, so the poor that they use for biodiesel fuel, right? They're going to get rid of them, and I'm gonna read what biodiesel fuel is for, okay? And that's for like pretty much electricity, and it makes sense because they're going to have cities that are going to be everything's going to be electrical, you know, electric cars, electric bikes, electric everything you could think of, you know what I'm saying? All right. So you're going to be the fuel to keep that city running. And then those that are the other side of the poor that are slaves, they're going to be the ones doing the odd, hard jobs while being ruled over by these weirdo tech billionaires. Okay, so let me read this real fast in Job 5 and 12. All right, it says, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right, so this is what's comforting to our minds, because hey, we're asking you how about Shem Shai, as it tells you in the book of Psalms, the 144th chapter. Let me get that real fast. All right, the 144th chapter. All right, I want to say around the 7th verse to step in. All right, from the strange nation. Okay, all right, these Edomites. Psalms 144, and let me start at verse 6. It says, cast forth lightning and scatter them, shoot out thine arrows and destroy them. Send thy hands from above, rid me and deliver me of a great waters. All right. Now the scriptures say that what Esau, that he know that he had but a short time, was going to come down as a flood. Right. It says, from the hands of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. Okay. All right. And they ain't playing with the agenda that they have in mind for the people. All right. Let me go back. Okay. To some of this article, and I'm gonna play a video. All right. Good thing that the Lord said that these so-called illuminated ones, which they're the light bearers of the world, they're the enlightened ones. All right. That the Lord was going to take out he was going to blow out their candlestick. Okay, I believe that's also in Job, the 20th chapter. All right, but let me read some more in this article. It says, bloggers is emerging as a serious intellectual influence on a key figure in Donald Trump's coming administration, which we're in now, right? In particular, over potential threats to U.S. democracy. Yarvin, who's considered liberal democracy as a decadent enemy to be dismantled, is intellectually influenced on Vice President-elect J.D. Vance and close to several proposed Trump appointees. The aftermath of Trump's election victory has seen action and rhetoric from Trump and his lieutenants that closely resemble Yarvin's public proposal for taking autocratic power in America. All right. So they want to, let me look up the word autocratic. Let me see what that is, because I'm learning it too as we go. So bear with me. All right. I can bear with me. Autocratic, relating to a ruler who has absolute power, taking no account of other people's wishes, or opinions, domineering. And this is the techno billionaire takeover that we're in right now. This is the era of them taking over with the technology that they have. Okay, so let me go to the video now. That was powerful right there. I didn't even know what that meant. You know, so let's watch some of this right here. Let's check this out.
Behind the money and influence flowing into the Trump campaign are a set of bizarre beliefs and a dark agenda.
I'm not just MAGA. I'm dark, gothic MAGA.
You see, the tech bros of Silicon Valley believe that the American empire is on the verge of collapse. Silicon Valley wants to speed this up, but use the coming administration to create safe landing zones for them and their cash, where they can also run their own governments. And what is so annoying about this is it makes me sound crazy. It makes me sound like a conspiracy theorist. But I'm talking about crazy people. I am talking about the guy who wants to colonize Mars. I am talking about the guy who said he gave up on democracy in 2009. These tech bros justify their point of view because they believe that that's the natural place in society. The courageous geniuses on the new frontier. I'm not speculating. These men say it. They say it on podcasts and at conferences and in interviews and in blog posts. Some are quiet. Some are very, very loud, but they all are on board.
And I think that if we want to increase freedom, we want to increase the number of countries.
If you want to replace the elite that you have today, what you need to do is you need to have a better elite. And there's a way to do this. It's been done before.
We get kind of money and property right, and that it's a strong foundation for building, kind of a world that we all want to live in. We're seeing, some breakdown of those in the real world in the United States lately.
I'm definitely very interested in ways that you can sort of tokenize real estate and actual physical land to create better forms of society and governance. I do think America is in slow decline right now. I would like us to all in crypto think about how we actually go create physical places in the world to preserve freedom over the long term. I think that's ultimately crypto's destiny.
The people of Mars will be more enlightened and will not fight amongst each other too much.
It's basically tech libertarian futurism, an ideology around technology, and including technology enhancing human freedom.
I am trying to fix government in the U.S. The point was let's have a new government.
Where do we sort of go from the wisdom of crowds?
You see how they keep mentioning let's have a new government? All right, so this is like what pretty much kind of took place during the time of slavery, which was the American Civil War or something like that, where you had the South against the North, okay, and then you got a lot of uproar against those that are in the Democratic Party, all right, and people are losing their job, and Trump is making major changes to America because pretty much they plan for him to be the CEO of America, and then he's the face of it, but for these guys to be the ruling class that make all the decision, okay? And there's going to be a lot of bloodshed here that takes place in Babylon, all right? Because see, the scriptures say that though a house be divided against itself, it shall not stand, all right? So now amongst the house that is divided amongst itself, meaning that there's going to be Edomites upon Edomites, you're gonna have them fighting amongst each other, which means that will be a civil war. All right, so we're going to see a great civil war take place here in Babylon the Great. All right, and it's happening, Akim. This thing is definitely happening. Now I'm gonna play majority of this video. It's about 30 minutes long, so just bear with me. All right, and we'll grab some scriptures in between. Okay.
To the madness of crowds. We're far too far on the side that you can describe as collectivist, centralized, Borg-like, conformist, and also generally just simply incorrect.
I think that what Elon's doing is showing a path to fighting back. The left-wing elite's going to be kicking and screaming the whole way.
Mark Cuban, one of the more normal billionaires, had this to say about this particular group of men that I'm talking about.
What's happened in Silicon Valley is insane.
Right.
Right. It's not so much a support thing, it's more like a takeover thing. Trying to put themselves in a position to have as much control as possible. They want Trump to be the CEO of the United States of America, and they want to be the board of directors that makes him listen to them.
Now, this hypothetical board includes a couple of power players that I think are worth keeping an eye on. Namely,
there's a driver from a small...
Now, this hypothetical board includes a couple of power players that I think are worth keeping an eye on. Namely, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Brian Armstrong, Mark Andreessen, Ben Horowitz, and David Sachs. In this video, I'm going to try and lay out what I think these people are doing behind the scenes. If you do want to dive further into this topic, I recommend looking at the work of Gilderon. I have linked his blog below. This is his beat, and he's amazing at it. This man is named Bilal.
And I'm gonna pause it for a second because see what she's gonna go into as far as like what they think behind the scenes. All right, links up with Psalms the 73rd chapter, I believe. Psalms the 73rd chapter. Let's go there real fast. All right. Yep, Psalm 73, and let's start at verse 5. It says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. So these are billionaires, tech billionaires, which they could be descendants of those Rothschilds, you know, Rockefellers, you know, family lines pretty much. Okay. All right. And what their fathers have been envisioning and what they planned. Okay, now they're at the pinnacle of what they believe that they can achieve, you know. So it says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. It says, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Because what they're really speaking is not peace. Okay, what they're speaking is really cruelty. All right, and an evil way to rule over the people. Like for this week, the Spirit has been going into how they want to take away your finances, and as they take away your finances, they'll have nothing but total control over you. All right, and the working class American society, all right, are doing nothing more than just struggling and going through it right now. All right, showing you that, as scriptures tell you in Micah 2:10, that this is not your rest. Okay, all right, and it's what the prophets have been warning about for years. Now that everything is just going on and everybody's starting to feel the squeeze and the pain, it's just evident for people to keep their eyes open on what is really being happening or what is being said. But nobody wants to take heed to the lowly man, to the true messages of Yahweh Shai, man. All right, that's why we say that this thing is only of the elect. The elect are considering these things and like, man, what is being spoken in the scriptures has to be true. Okay, which they are. These words are what? Faithful and true. Okay, as the scripture tell you in Sirach the 15th, I'm sorry, 2nd Ezra the 15th chapter, 2nd Ezra the 15th chapter, it says, speak down to the ears of my people, which are the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, similar Indians. All right, and we're supposed to declare these words unto them. You see what I'm saying? Okay, but everybody else is getting up on these platforms and they're crying out on the injustice of what's taking place here, you know? All right, so it says, verse 7, it says, their eyes stand out with fatness. Okay, right? They're looking down on everybody else. They're looking at what they can conquer, what they can achieve, what they can control, and how they can control it. Okay, all right, and it's going to be done through this technology. Okay, it says they stand out with fatness. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily, okay? They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Now, let's watch some more of the video.
Balaji Srivasan. Like Beyonce, he tends to only go by his first name. Balaji is highly involved in the tech scene, and while not a billionaire himself, he is friends with a lot of them. He's a former partner of Andreessen Horowitz. He is the former CTO of Brian Armstrong's Coinbase. Thiel actually recommends...
And mind you, this dude, Balaji Srivasan, he's pretty much, he has repackaged what Curtis Yvonne has said, okay? But he's making it more into a digestible means where you can consume it more easily. It's more appeasable to you, all right? Because the twisted way that Curtis Yvonne pretty much brought it out, it people ain't gonna buy into it, so to speak. All right, so let's watch some more.
Recommended Balaji to be the head of the FDA during the first Trump administration. Balaji wrote a book. It's called The Network State: How to Start Your Own Country. In that book, he talks about how to break nation states apart into smaller territories, which can then be run like corporations.
What I mean by Silicon Valley's ultimate exit. It basically means build an opt-in society, ultimately outside the US, run by technology. And this is actually where the Valley is going.
You see, like many in the industry, Balaji is a disruptor. He is interested in disrupting the current idea of nationhood through the creation of a network of sovereign, tech-run territories protected by military-grade security. Balaji wasn't the first person to come up with this idea, not even in the tech scene, but he was the first person to present it in a more palatable way. The idea actually comes from someone named Curtis Yarvin. In Patchwork, Yarvin wrote, "The basic idea of patchwork is that as the crappy governments we inherited from history are smashed, they should be replaced by a global spiderweb of tens, even hundreds of thousands of sovereign and independent mini-countries, each governed by its own joint stock corporation, without regard to the residents' opinions." Patchwork is a reboot of the current system in order to install a new operating system. Yes, Yarvin is a software developer with a company named Urbit, invested in by Peter Thiel. He refers to these small territories as patches, but he's flexible about how they might run, maybe like a corporate urban space or a city-state like Athens. These corporate dictatorships would use all-seeing surveillance to protect their citizens and enforce their laws. There would be biometric IDs. If you're poor, you will have to move to another patch. Or the poor could be ground up and used as biodiesel, or locked into a virtual reality prison. Now, Yarvin said he was joking about the biodiesel thing, but not about the prison thing. So I'm not sure if he was joking about the biodiesel, which gives us an understanding of why.
And these words not to be taken lightly. All right, that's why we say and what Psalms. I'm in a lot of Psalms today. Psalms the 73rd chapter, right? I'm not sorry, Psalms the 73rd. Psalms the 13th chapter and the 17th verse, all right? Is it 13? Maybe 17. I'm sorry. Slacking. Psalm 17 and 13. Matter of fact, let me start at verse 8. Psalm 17 and 8. It says, "Keep me as the apple of thine eye." All right, which, let me read that in NLT. It says, "Guard me as you would guard your own eye. Hide me in the shadow of your wing." All right. And that's what we're asking Yahweh Shem Shai to do to his hopeful elect. All right. To hide us. All right. From the workers of insurrection that want to pretty much murder us. Okay. All right. And they have plans to take out Israel. Okay. All right. They conspire against us. You can read Psalms the 83rd chapter. You can read Psalms the 2nd chapter. All right. Now, let's read down. It says, verse 9. I'm reading that in NLT. It says, "Protect me from the wicked people who attack me, from murderous enemies who surround me." It says, "They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword." Okay, this is why we need ultimately Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to step in on our behalf. All right. Because of what they have envisioned for the world and the power that is in their hand, okay? Because they're mobilizing the military, they're getting ready to have the police force upgraded, all right? And this is why they're speaking about merits, all right? And they want everybody that is skillfully trained to be able to rule over you, all right, in a harsh manner, all right? Man, watch that movie 1984. It gives you a good depiction on the type of control, the type of big brother control that they want over the people, over the minds of you. Okay. Woo, this thing is serious. But let's watch some more. All right, let's watch some more.
Which gives us an understanding of why Balaji had to come up with a more appealing way to present this idea. Balaji has less about dictatorship and mass incarceration and more about freedom and opportunity. A lot of people in the industry...
You hear that? See about freedom, opportunity, yada, yada, yada. You know, that's what Balaji pretty much is trying to repackage what Curtis Yarvin, trying to say his name right, Curtis Yarvin is saying, you know? All right? But he, too, is thinking the same thing. That's the only way you can be on good terms with these devils, if y'all on the same page, you know? But what is that? 2 Thessalonians? Is it? No. It's 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians 5. And let's start at 1. It says, "But of the times and of the season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, Then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Okay. And I recently just heard something that they're starting to now move residents into a so-called free community. And as soon as I seen it, I automatically thought about 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. There's no way that they're moving people into so-called free communities right now. All right. So whatever that so-called free community is, that could be a test run for whatever they got going on. You know, that's just something I seen earlier. I got to look more into it, but that's what it made me think about. You know, I don't trust these devils. All right. And I don't put nothing past them. All right. People are struggling, so people will jump on it. A free community. I get to have someone where my children could be. There's a park to play. There's amenities, there's things of that nature. All right. People are going through it. Yeah, people are going to trust in a falsehood, and then they're going to find out that they've been led into a hole that they can never get out of, man. All right. But see, the Lord has given us, he's given us the understanding to know whom our enemy is, as the scripture tell you in Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy. You know, all right. Never trust thine enemy. You know, they speak sweetly with their lips, but war is in their hearts. Okay.
A lot of people in the industry acknowledge that Balaji's ideas are a little out there.
This is biology.
Yeah, this is biology.
And I would dismiss them too if those same people weren't actively funding them. Millions of dollars are being funneled into these projects as we speak. This is the website for Praxis, a network state funded by Peter Thiel, Mark Andreessen, Balaji, and Sam Altman. Hi. We're their shared capital fund. Thiel, Mark Andreessen, Balaji, and Sam Altman. Through their shared capital fund, Pronomus, which is dedicated to funding the creation of network cities. The website for Praxis says, as local communities dissolve and nation-states stumble, network states will ascend. The next global superpower will be a network state. The next America will be on-chain. The stated goal of Praxis is to build a corporate government with a global footprint. It will have territories all over the world. Crypto will be its currency. The modern global system, once the greatest power in the history of man, has become a brittle, jerry-rigged contraption incapable of carrying out the most basic functions. As these governing institutions continue to degrade, people will come to realize that no one is truly on their side. As nation-states falter, network states become inevitable. I should mention that Pronomus Capital is funding the creation of other network states, many of which are further along than Praxis. Some examples are Prospera in Honduras, Afropolitan, Etana, and small farm cities in Africa, Metropolis in Palau, and I think Young Drunk City is planned for South Asia. On Pronomus' website, they claim decades of research on economic development has shown that the primary determinant of prosperity is the quality of a country's laws and the integrity of its courts, administrators, and other legal institutions. When institutions are outmoded, corrupted, or failing, the result is untold human suffering. Yet upgrading national institutions is notoriously difficult. Our solution? Build the cities of tomorrow. Right now, they are creating cloud communities, virtual nations. Once they have access to land, they will get their citizens to migrate to that city. Have a look at the pledge that you sign when you join Praxis, which you can join right now, by the way. Pronomus isn't actually Peter Thiel's first flirtation with exiting democracy either. In 2009, he funded the Seasteading Institute.
I want to say some things on why I think seasteading is not just possible or desirable, but why it is actually necessary.
The Seasteading Institute envisioned building these floating cities in the ocean outside of government's jurisdiction where billionaires could live and create as they saw fit. This idea kind of ran out of steam because nobody wants to live at sea, especially not billionaires, which means they need land. But how do we get from a nation state to a network state?
And this is actually related to a fundamental concept in political science, the concept of voice versus exit. If a company or a country is in decline, you can try voice or you can try exit. Voice is basically changing the system from within, whereas exit is leaving to create a new system, a new startup, or to join a competitor sometimes.
There's another way that Balaji also talks about how this could possibly happen. He calls it tech Zionism.
Right. You know, what I'm really calling for is something like tech Zionism, a movement supported by a global network to take back territory in the city, floor by floor, street by street,
block by block, policeman by policeman. You have a foothold of private property, and you have a group membership of Grey Tribe membership in private property. You also issue T-shirts. The tribal lens is like a virtual reality filter. Every single thing can be tagged as gray or blue in the city. I mean, like literally. So gray is the future, red is the past, blue is the present. So blue stands against both the past and the future. They're against both the self-driving cars, and they don't want to go back to the 50s. They prefer OnlyFans, Me Too, BLM, Ukraine. The hard part is to take control of the streets. How can you fence off a street and make clear that it's under gray control? Take total control of your neighborhood, push out all blues, tell them they're as unwelcome as just as blues ethnically cleanse me out of San Francisco. Like, push out all blues. Blue has lost some territory in the cloud. They still control the land. Once gray starts taking back control of the land, that they're really going to howl. As they start losing, they're going to whistle for backup from California and eventually DC. Okay? They're going to try to get executive orders or things like that, which means you're going to need to have sympathizers at the level of California and DC who will side with you enough to block those actions, number one. And or number two, you actually get to the level of a sanctuary city and you say, I dare you.
Keep in mind, actions like this are already being attempted in places like Solano County, where they're trying to build California forever, or the actions that Gary Tan is taking in San Francisco. But the people in these areas are putting up a fight, and it's costly, and it's slowing everything down.
I'm telling you this. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Let me go to Isaiah, okay? Isaiah 19 and let me see. Let's read Isaiah 19 and let's go to let me see. Let's go to. I don't think I have the Bible translation comparisons. I want to say it's the GNT. Let me see. You know what? I know that NLT is good, but let me pause it for a second, Hakim. It's like, okay, this is what I want to grab right here. This is Isaiah 19 and 2 in the GNT. The app didn't have it. So it says, the Lord says, I will stir up civil war in Egypt. Okay. It says, and turn brother against brother and neighbor against neighbor. Rival cities will fight each other and rival kings will struggle for power. All right. And that's exactly what's going on. They're pushing out others and then they're aligning themselves doing certain things. And again, it's a slow resistance, but eventually they're going to be the ones that come out on top. All right. And hey, we're about to see the collapse of the American society. Okay. All hell is getting ready to break loose out in these streets. All right. And it's getting ready to go down, brothers. You know, that's why we got to stay prayed up. We got to stay in the right spirit. We got to make sure that we getting our household in order, you know. All right. Because this thing getting ready to explode, man. It's like a ticking time bomb here. All right. Let's go back to the video, okay? Because there's a lot more, you know. We're only 12 minutes in. But you know what? For time's sake, how about I do this? I'm going to play a little bit, and I'm going to fast forward to the 20 mark, to hear what they got to say around that mark, all right?
Fortunately, Trump is talking about something called freedom cities, the creation of new cities on federal land.
Almost 1/3 of the land mass of the United States is owned by the federal government, with just a very, very small portion of that land, just a fraction, 1/2 of 1%. Would you believe that? We should hold a contest to charter up to 10 new cities and award them to the best proposals for development. These freedom cities will reopen the frontier, reignite American imagination.
I wonder where he got that idea. This is where J.D. Vance comes in. J.D. Vance is seen as a mild-mannered, well-spoken success story. A populist who was born into tough circumstances in Appalachia, but managed to pull himself up by his bootstraps, graduate from Yale Law, become a best-selling author, become a tech venture capitalist, only to give all of that up for public service. When he was officially tapped on the shoulder for the vice presidential nomination, many of his former colleagues celebrated. Elon Musk, David Sachs, Mark Andreessen, and Balaji all tweeted their congratulations. After all, it was a strange choice for Donald Trump, especially compared to Mike Pence. But when it comes to JD Vance, a lot of people make strange choices. Peter Thiel invested $15 million in his campaign to become senator, the largest single donation to a Senate campaign in history. JD Vance is...
And I want to say that's what capitalist is all about. You know, whoever has the money, pretty much money talks, you know. So a lot of these billionaires, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Brian Armstrong, Mark Andreessen, Ben Horowitz, David Sachs. Balaji's not really a billionaire, but he just rubbing elbows with, you know, these billionaires, and he's in good standing with them, all right? But all these other dudes, Bill Gates, all right, they're able to buy their way into things because why? They have the funds behind it, okay? All right, and they're considering themselves as the elites of the new world, all right? And that's where you get the term of pretty much technocracy from. Let me get that real fast in the online. All right, let's read that real fast, okay? Give me a second, I can. All right, and Lord willing, this is making sense, okay? This is the word technocracy. This is the government or control of society or industry by an elite of technical experts, okay? So these would be the so-called technical experts that are going to be ruling over the world, so to speak, all right? Matter of fact, what I didn't get was the human biodiesel. I didn't get that, so Salaki, let me backtrack a little bit. Salaki. Right here, human biodiesel. Biodiesel can be made from human fat or waste, but it's illegal in California to use human medical waste for this purpose. Just get what they use it for. Human fat can be used to make biodiesel because it contains triglycerides, which can be broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. It says in 2007, the EcoBoat, the Earth race, used biodiesel made from human fat to circumnavigate the globe. Yada yada yada. There's something happened with a cosmetic surgeon. Human waste. It says human waste can be used to make biofuel through a process called hydrothermal liquefaction. So you can look more into that. Sewage sludge is a waste source that can be used to make biofuel. In wastewater treatment plants, anaerobic microorganisms break down solids to produce biogas, which can be used for heating and electricity. All right, and I thought that was very interesting, the electricity part. Okay, so pretty much they're going to turn people into fuel for these cities, man. All right. Can you use human fat to fuel your car? Biodiesel. They've been talking about making this train that was going to go from California all the way to Vegas in a matter of pretty much seconds. So look at that. Biodiesel can be used for that. You know, for trains. So there's a lot with that biodiesel fuel. So you'll become the fuel for all these things that you'll be fueling. All right. Who they redeem as unnecessary for their society, man. Okay. Oh boy. When we say we need Yahweh Shai to come back, we really mean that. This is who we talk about. These are the Edomites, okay? These are the Edomites that have this dystopian world that they believe in, all right? Yeah, let me go back. All right, play some more. There's a little bit more in here that I want to grab.
Is an extension of Peter Thiel. That doesn't mean that he is beholden to him, but it does mean that Peter Thiel has had such a huge influence on JD Vance's life that you cannot understand him without first understanding who Peter Thiel is.
I'm Peter Thiel. I build companies and I support people who are building new things.
I would say Peter Thiel is the most honest representation of what Silicon Valley is today. Worth up to $9 billion, extremely well connected. He started off as a member of the PayPal mafia, the guys who invented PayPal. And they
brothers can look into Peter Thiel. I'm going to fast forward it to about the 20th mark. Right here. Let's go right here.
Butterfly Revolution. Step 1. Campaign on autocracy.
He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one.
Yavin says that Donald Trump should run on his autocratic ambition, but he should frame it as destroying an inefficient and unworkable system.
We are in a late Republican period. If we're going to push back against it, we have to get pretty wild and pretty far out there and go in directions that a lot of conservatives right now are uncomfortable with.
We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
Step 2. Purge the...
You heard that?
Directions that a lot of conservatives right now are uncomfortable with.
We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will...
That's what I was trying to get at in the beginning, the Second American Revolution, all right? But this one is going to be bloody, okay, because of the fact that there's going to be insurrection of the people, all right? People are not going to stand for losing their jobs and losing out on the money that we're lining their pocket through taxpayers' dollars, through our dollars, okay? So they're going to fight. Like you had one woman, she said, I will get on the front lines with you because I can't afford to do shit out here. You know, divorced, you know, working class and just through, okay?
Remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
Step 2. Purge the bureaucracy. Curtis Yarvin refers to this as rage.
RAGE stands for retire all government employees.
And he has clearly influenced some very important people.
I think that what Trump should do, like if I was giving him one piece of advice, fire every single mid-level bureaucrat, every civil servant in the administrative state.
And we know that Donald Trump would be open to rage because it sounds a lot like Schedule F, an executive order issued by Donald Trump in October of 2020. Schedule F would have essentially stripped protections from civil servants who didn't show enough loyalty to the president of the day, which is why Joe Biden rescinded this order the second he came into office in January of 2021. But Trump has said he plans to reinstate it.
First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively.
But how could you accomplish that so quickly? I mean, you need civil servants. Don't worry, Project 2025 is already on it. Pillar 2 of Project 2025 could be considered MAGA LinkedIn. This platform is designed to pre-stream candidates for their loyalty and streamline the appointments process.
We talk about conservative warriors, but we want people who've been canceled, who've kind of, figuratively given blood for the movement.
You can join it right now. Then pair that with Pillar 3, which is an online education platform known as the Presidential Administration Academy, and you have preemptively educated all future employees on what is expected of them from the conservative administration. Step 3. Ignore the courts. According to Yarvin, the president should simply state that he believes Madison v. Marbury was decided incorrectly, declare a state of emergency, and that way Supreme Court rulings would be merely advisory.
When the courts stop you, stand before the country like Andrew Jackson did and say the Chief Justice has made his ruling, now let him enforce it.
But thanks to recent Supreme Court decisions, he may not even need to do that.
The High Court has just issued one of its most consequential rulings in recent decades, a decision that not only affects the 2024 race for president following last week's contentious debate, but also the future of the presidency itself.
Trump v. United States has laid the groundwork to ensure that Donald Trump can ignore the court. Now, the president has absolute immunity for core official acts and presumptive immunity for all other official acts, a distinction that has not been clarified by the court, with only a few examples being provided and absolutely no guardrails to stop the misuse of this decision being put in place.
Today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do, because the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States. The only limits will be self-imposed by the president alone.
Were you involved in a traffic?
Self-imposed by the president alone.
Step 4. Co-opt Congress. Yarvin suggests that Trump handpick candidates for every single seat, with the sole criterion being personal loyalty to him. Because you can't have a parliamentary dictatorship if you don't have Congress. And while it seems like a big task, Yarvin assures us You only need a couple of $1 billion. I know some people with a few $1 billion. While Peter Thiel may have decided to sit this election cycle out, Elon Musk, Mark Andreessen, Brian Armstrong have not.
We got to get the congressmen elected and we got to get the senators elected because we can take the Senate pretty easily. And I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over.
Step 5. Centralized police and government powers. In this declared state of emergency, Yavin suggests that Trump take direct control over all law enforcement agencies, federalize the National Guard, and effectively create a national police force that absorbs local bodies.
I think that actually the support of the Democratic public is a cipher. I think that actually all you need is command of the police.
This is so that a centralized police state can be created to back the power grab, and I'd say there's no way this could happen if Donald Trump hadn't tried to do it before. We know that he sent the National Guard during the George Floyd protests.
And that I was insistent on having the National Guard go in and do their work. It was like a miracle. It just, everything stopped.
And we know that he wanted to invoke the Insurrection Act.
If your state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
Now, there are, of course, protections within the law, posse comitatus, to stop a president from doing this, but Donald Trump has found a loophole before. I'm sure he'll find one again, especially in a state of emergency where he has absolute immunity for core official acts. Step 6. Shut down elite media and academic institutions. Yavin has explicitly said that you cannot have a New York Times or a Harvard past April. He has a popular theory that true power in America is held by something he calls the cathedral, a term that should alert you, whenever you hear it, to this kind of thing. The cathedral is made up of elite media and academic institutions that, according to Yavin, set the bounds of acceptable political discourse and distort reality to conform with their ideological beliefs.
So the cathedral is essentially performing the functions that a ministry of truth would perform in a classic Orwellian, environment, and it's performing the functions that a religion would in a classic theocracy.
Therefore,
and it's their way of thinking. It's not according to the Lord or the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? I believe Theo is God and Chrissy means to rule by God. All right, but who would really be the God that they're talking about? It'd be them. They'll be the gods. Let's make the world in our image through AI, transhumanism, technology, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? All right, that's why, man, let me go to Job 20, man, because it tells you on the back of the dollar bill the eye that's on top of the pyramid is pretty much them being illuminated, all right? Novos Ordo Seclorum, man, New World Order. So they got this plan of ruling by technology, all right? But the Lord said what? Though they may seem like they're illuminated, okay, and they're getting ready to be this dark enlightenment to the world, the Lord's getting ready to blow out their candles, okay? Let me see. Let me go right here. This is Slovakia. Is it 20? That's also a good one. Let me see, Slovakia. Okay, here it is. I'm sorry. It's Job 21. I'm going to start at verse 14. It says, therefore they say unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? Lo, their good is not in their hands. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. It says, how oft is the candle of the wicked put out? And how oft cometh their destruction upon them? Yahweh distributes sorrows in his anger. They are as stubble before the wind, as a chaff, and the storm carrieth them away. Yahweh layeth up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know if not. Let me see. Is this what I'm looking for? Okay, it was just the top part. Okay, I'm sorry, it was just the top part. All right, verse 14 through 17, pretty much. All right. Matter of fact, let me read 17 in NOT. It says, yet the light of the wicked never seemed to be extinguished. Do they ever have trouble? Does God distribute sorrow to them in anger? And he's getting ready to put the candlesticks out. He's getting ready to put the light out. All right. That's why we're getting ready to see, as it tell you, Satan fell as pretty much lightning. All right. Satan. Let me go to the other blue letter. Let me go to the Bible. Because you got to be correct in the blue letter. Satan. Lightning. Satan fell. Satan fall. There it is. Luke 10 and 18. And he said, unto them I beheld Satan as lightning. Okay, I was spelling it wrong. Fall from heaven. All right. So Satan is getting ready to go down fast. All right, than what he think he is. All right, he's not going to be able to perform his enterprise. All right, but they're pushing this thing quickly. They're pushing this thing quick. You know. All right, and we're definitely in those times. All right, so I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm pretty much at the hour mark. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. All right, Lord willing, it did make sense. All right, and yeah, you Akim stay prayed up. All right, and may Yahweh Bashim Shai be with all the sincere believers in Yahweh Bashim Shai, you and your household. So with that, giving all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashim Shai, double honor to the apostles, elders, great millstone, and it's on to the next. Shalom, Akim. Shalom.